to ban.
Okay, folks, with that, we're into the third and final game, not set, between Team Liquid and CIS Rejects in our Star Ladder I-League Star Series 13 coverage. Once again, I'm Llama Down Under. I'm going to be joined by Scant, and let's get into it. I think if Dazzle makes it through onto either team's roster, I think we'll see a Husker ban.
Yeah, that's quite possible. And Liquid taking their time on the Lina ban this time. All 3 games they banned Wisp and Lina, but this one in particular, they waited quite a long time. Not sure if they should ban Iceberg's Lina or if they should ban something else, and I'm wondering what that problem hero was. Maybe it was the Dazzle they were considering, but it's gonna be Doom banned out by CS Rejects immediately at Tusk pick.
Finally, the Doom is banned out. I feel like another thing, although he didn't have as much impact, I feel like upon analysis you're completely right, the Invoker took over the game, but I mean, we had 2 games where the side with the Doom won. Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, probably not. And Tusk, I think, in the series for the first time, I think it was banned first phase in both the previous games. Is that right?
Yes, it was, and Jerax and Mind Control, both fantastic on this hero. I'm pretty sure they both have an 80% win rate, if I'm recalling correctly. It is a little insane. On the other hand, as you mentioned, I'm not sure. I agree with you. I've seen Iceberg's Lina. It's very dominant, but I feel like there are ways to deal with a Lina, similar to how you can deal with a Shadow Fiend, and maybe banning out one of those other strong heroes, like the Slaughter or something, or the Darkseer, who's now in the pool, is going to do you well. But Team Liquid, they have options. This could be support Tusk. This can be offlane Tusk. They can go for the Darkseer here as well.
Yeah, Darkseer wouldn't be a bad option. Usually a good opener. I know Mind Control likes to play the hero as well, and obviously a very good dual lane. I guess they're not that scared of the Shadow Fiend, because in the first game Shadow Fiend had like a dream game, got really powerful, and they just beat him anyway. So yeah, I don't know.
And then in the second game, right, Shadow Fiend had a rough time, so maybe Liquid is saying, look, you can do that to our Shadow Fiend, we know how to do it to your Shadow Fiend. Or, as you said, control him even if he gets big. So maybe not as scared, but of course, Slaughter Shadow Fiend, I mean, it was melting people in that first game, and if CIS Rejects pick up more control, I think, as you said, they can take the game. So wouldn't be surprised to maybe see them picking up the Venge. And speaking of Venge, I wanted to say that I feel like she's also seen an uptick in the amount she's been picked. It's something I would love to run the numbers on, because there are definitely heroes that kind of, as the patch marinates, get more popular, and I feel like Venge has been one of those. But it's going to be Gyro. As we said, Matomba Man only gets to play one hero. That's the rules.
Yeah, Venge is definitely making a comeback, and it's interesting because Venge is a hero that at a stage was like the most popular support, and when it stopped being popular, it was barely nerfed into that position. It was just a patch change mostly. I mean, the hero became super popular when people realized you could like stack camps just by howling. That got changed.
5 seconds remaining.
And I think the hero is still really good. Does a lot of important things. Does a lot of like placement, positioning. One thing that goes for it is that people keep banning heroes like Dazzle, Wyvern, Tusk, Earthshaker, the currently popular saving heroes, and so it's an alternate way to save people, which is definitely very useful. But yeah, I agree with you. Definitely been a bit of an uptick in terms of Venge picks, and interesting, CS Rejects actually ban out the Quap. I think that's a ban on support Quap, to be honest, because that's what Liquid have been running all the time.
And it does seem like we've talked about it before, but she's a hero that has a free blink, which can be initiation or escape. When she's played in the support role, it doesn't. She might dive for things where if she dies, it's not as impactful because she's lower on the net worth. She wasn't that core Quap, and that pesky Shadow Strike. I mean, it is such a pain to deal with. And as we talked about, when a Quap goes Shadow Strike level 1, normally you just say, okay, that means we rotate and kill the mid laner because she doesn't have blink, no easy escape. But when it's a support Quap, it's like, whatever, the Quap's fine with that. She's just gonna go hide off for a while because she doesn't need to be super present. Either way, they pick up the AA, and I am a little surprised by this. I feel like neither side already showing... I mean, it's something where, yeah, you can AA blast a good snowball. Maybe it's the block pick saying that you can't get this if we pick Husker, and you can't get this if you pick Husker, you know?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. AA is also just a hero that's been trending recently. Teams like to pick it. I mean, it happens to do all those things. It blocks certain heroes, enables other heroes. And they might just have thought, you know, this is
Reserve time.
I don't know, this is like a laning style we want to go for this game, or perhaps there's something they can combine with the A that goes really well. Something interesting that I noticed as well, Batrider picked up for Team Liquid yet again. Didn't do so well last game, but maybe this time will be different. So, something interesting I've noticed in this series is that Liquid played on the Dire and CIS Rejects on the Radiant in every game. And each game, the team that had priority chose first pick. And then Liquid actually chose Dire, and CS Rejects have chosen Radiant twice. So that's an interesting kind of, actually typical, I would say right now. The more experienced kind of top tier teams are choosing Dire mostly. It's something that I've analyzed quite a lot. And the majority of pro teams, just like the sheer masses, are choosing Radiant. Radiant's the side that's been preferred for most of the year for the fact that you can get access to your you have nicer laning in the off lane, nicer laning mid lane, and you've got great ability to farm your jungle, whereas the Dire picking teams are just like, you know, happy to shut down the Radiants and have closer access to Rush. But yeah, I see you getting excited about that Invoker pick.
I couldn't contain it. I love, okay, so I have to admit, I'm not an experienced Invoker player in the slightest, but he's such a fun hero to watch. Obviously, there's a wealth of spells that he can cast, but it's just something where, I mean, this game... Okay, this game actually has potential to be an Exotic game, because I feel like Batrider can slow people down enough that you can set up that Sunstrike, and of course then Tusk with Ice Shards, it makes it a lot easier to hit. But it's just so much more fun. I feel like there's definitely some matchups, you know, someone picks a Viper, someone picks a Razor, oh, that's exciting. Static Link for 70 damage, oh. But Invoker, action!
Turn to bad.
Yeah, I just think when you see Invoker in draft, you have to talk about him, because look at his eyes. He's like got these scary eyes that are just like piercing your soul, and you're like most of the heroes aren't like that. But Invoker, he's just like...
Batrider's even smiling. I didn't even realize that. Batrider, like, must be one of the chillest. He's just kind of smiling going into battle. But it is going to be Huskar again. It turns out the AA was to ban that. And holy Hannah, CIS Rejects, they've got so much minus armor, and I imagine not only is having a lot of minus armor, it's a great draft for you, but it's also something where now the Huskar can't have a lot of minus armor turned against him. Team Liquid, though, I think here have a better job of having a lot of control. Obviously, Invoker brings a lot of control to the table, as does Batrider being able to slob that Huskar. I'm really interested to see how this mid goes. Yeah, and Tusk.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
CS Rejects do have the Venge to help protect people from bats, maybe even from Tusk initiation, so that's going to help them. And I like about CS Rejects draft that they've got Huskar and Shadow Fiend. In the previous game I said they needed Huskar and something else, like two heroes that are very important to deal with, and that's how it worked. The Invoker and the Huskar both got out of control, and I think that having Shadow Fiend and Huskar could do something similar. Although that said, again, the weakness of the Shadow Fiend is that it doesn't provide its own control, and so we do see CS Rejects in almost a cross between Game 1 and Game 2. Game 1 they had the strong Shadow Fiend, maybe lacking control, and Game 2 they had the Huskar +1. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on the slaughter in this game for CS Rejects to make those plays, to get those Slitherine crashes off, to set up the fights.
I'm really surprised by this last pick. Yes, Leshrac brings some physical damage to the table, but I think most of us view his toolkit as predominantly magical, of course, with that Pulse Nova. And it is something where Huskar has that inbuilt Berserker's Blood, which makes him take a lot of magic resistance. On top of that, you can just get yourselves up BKBs, and still, I mean, yes, Edict is powerful, but one, if it's split 5 ways, doesn't do as much. And then two, it's something where, again, you get BKBs, what does Leshrac do? What does Invoker do? So really surprised a bit by this one. Again, oh, never mind, it's a support Leshrac, it could be. I was assuming it was kind of a farming Lesh, and then realized that we don't know if that's going to be the support bat they like running, or mind control again on bat.
It is mind control on the bats, yeah, and yeah, it's just a support Leshrac.
That makes a lot more sense, I guess, and it's just them, I assume it's just more lockdown, right? You gotta deal with this Husk some way, and having more stuns certainly gonna help.
Yeah, potentially giving them some pushing power as well. And I mean, Liquid are not afraid. We see with the Kuro Quap all the time, they're not afraid to pick Kuro, a hero that enemy team's going to target. I mean, he seems to almost thrive under those conditions.
Yep. So we're going to be seeing Golbak playing up that Ancient Apparition. Huskar again on Ramses 666. Shadow Fiend being played by Iceberg, of course. Venge going to be on Always Wanna Fly, and that leaves Afterlife on the Sladar.
Yeah, on the Liquid side, Yarax on his signature task. We've got Matimberman on the only hero he ever plays these days, the Gyrocopter. Fats on the Invoker. Kuro, we said, on Leshrac, and offlane, and it's mind control again on the Batrider. Interestingly enough, Fata's Invoker is he invented all sorts of things in this hero. There was a stage where he was doing like
30
mech
seconds to
invoker.
battle.
I mean, I think that Faro brought mech to lots of unusual heroes about a year ago or so. So I'm interested to see what he'll do because he's definitely not been afraid to innovate on this hero.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he'll just go for one of the standard builds or, you know, just.
He already picks up Quas, and then he has quickly 3 tangos donated to him. Oh, donating tangos for the cause. I imagine, though, we talked about it last match, it's something where Invoker typically has a really rough time in mid-matchups just because of his low damage output when he does go this Quas Wax build. And then SF is going to be able to pick up them souls and be doing a lot more damage. But
Yeah, I mean, like, if you look right now, they each have 49 damage on average. So, like, immediately the first wave, it can be even. But it's the SF's farm just snowballs. Once he starts getting last hits, he gets more and more, and you get less and less.
Yeah, and it's something where I think, obviously, this ward is going to help out Invoker. If Jerax comes mid at all, though, I think, oh, this is dirty. AA given that nice little buff to Shadow Fiend, so he's going to have a nice time getting up those first souls. I was going to say, I think, though, a little advantage for Liquid is Jerax. We've seen him play so well on this Tusk, and Shadow Fiend, he's not a hero that has an escape mechanism. He's no Quap, so Jerax, I think, should be able to abuse him in mid and help the Invoker get some kills.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility, and if there's any Tusk who's able to make those plays, it's certainly him. He's going for one right now.
My goodness, level 1, already going for it. Fodder has the cold snap. We're gonna see if this is enough. I think they're a bit short on damage. Oh, I think like 2 auto attacks away, so Shadow Fiend gets to pop his salve, but that's exactly what we were talking about, and in goes Jerax, not one to disappoint.
And he doesn't... Iceberg doesn't actually have, again, like in game 1, doesn't really have supports to save him. So if AA is near when that happens, it could go for a trade, but
oh yeah,
it's not gonna keep him alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's really rough here. No Dazzle, no one like the Wyvern who's gonna stop that physical damage output, so it's not the easiest. And this Venge is being a real pain. Mind Control, only level 2, always want to fly, albeit has used quite a bit of mana on it, but has been zoning Mind Control. He already had to use up his salve, has only 1 tango to his name. And we have another Ice Shot, not quite gonna latch on Iceberg in the mid.
Mind Control actually chasing after Oyster Fly.
He's got 4 stacks. This, I think, could be death. There's also the Firefly ready.
There's a magic stick.
Yeah,
there's a magic stick with lots of charges.
Okay, they decide to back out. I feel like at the time it takes the Venge to turn and cast the stun on you with 5 charges, you might be able to do a loop-the-loop and kind of deal with her, but yeah, and now we're seeing 11 souls up on Shadow Fiend, albeit he also has a DD right now, but he's going to be out-damaging that Invoker. So, oh, but they go for the Cold Snap. I think Jerax was a little bit closer.
No.
We're just trying to stop initiation.
Yeah, someone just messaged me and said they can't hear your mic inside Dota TV.
Well, they would be incorrect, because I can hear my mic.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either.
I can see the little speech bubble. Can you see the little speech bubble that comes up when we talk?
I can see my own. I can't see yours because we...
Yeah, then we're good. What's probably... Okay, so occasionally there are bugs where you can't hear people in Dota TV. It's really rough, as folks who are watching the broadcast can see. I'm clearly speaking.
Yeah, you can just toggle the broadcasters or reconnect or something. I think that's the way to fix it if it's just user side.
Yeah, I just toggled all the hotkeys, so it should have done that. Now we have double stun up top. I don't think there's going to be anything else. And hopefully, folks, you can hear it now. If you can't, I will maybe restart, but I'll wait to see if you get any more messages from anyone. But either way, we don't have any action. Again, all 3 of these games starting out really slowly. I feel like, you know, we kind of joke about how Russian Dota is very aggressive, but I think it's also something where Liquid is playing the control game really well.
Yeah, it's also that CIS rejects wait to hit their timings. I think the aggression does start in earnest around 10 minutes, and before then they're happy to just farm it up, get some value, which obviously Liquid are happy for. But I feel like sometimes as the aggression begins, we've seen in this series certainly in both the previous games, as it begins, Liquid are not quite ready for it, and usually they go a bit behind on kills at the start.
Yeah. Now, Afterlife on this slot are having a really rough time. He doesn't have a mechanism like the Batrider, right? Both offlaners are being zoned. The Batrider can just go to the jungle and chill. And it does seem... I'm not sure how Afterlife is going to make space here on the Slaughter. He can try for a kill, sprinting in with Slithering Crush, but it's not an easy task.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about this either. It's... Yeah, exactly as you say. It's possible, but far from easy.
I do like that he's leeching the experience while the Invoker was off doing rune things, but other than that, I mean, it's a tough lane up top. I'm not quite sure how he's going to be able to get his farm up, and I think it's going to be one of those games where we see the Slaughter coming online pretty late, like we saw with the Batrider last game, but I mean, everybody's getting into position on this Invoker. They're trying to use this nighttime advantage, but of course, there is a ward there, so a lot of this is going to be moot. Oh, but Invoker, he's pretty far out. The sprint has come out. Fodder, he could... Nope. Afterlife deciding better of it. Doesn't want to get caught under tower. And now we actually have Kuro and Mind Control thinking about rotating in. Although Mind Control probably not going to rotate in at that 300 health.
Yep. But early in their lane, Slaughter's now going to be able to soak a whole lot of XP, and Mind Control actually, just farming the jungle. Probably going to go straight for that dagger this time, because he's able to just go into the jungle early on. Doesn't have... That's the value of having Invoker mid instead of SF mid. You're not competing for the jungle that much. And Matsumbaman doesn't need it that much either, because his lane farm is going really, really well this game.
Yep. And now we have 3 heroes. They're congregating on top on Afterlife. He does pop that sprint, but he's just going to increase the damage output. A little miscommunication, it looked like there, with whether they should Tornado or Rocket Barrage, but they get the first blood. Easy peasy. And a nice bit of gold going into the Invoker, but at the same time, down bottom, Tusk, Jerax in a little bit of trouble. The Courier is just going to flap on by him, and it looks like he should walk it off.
Yeah, so Liquid have been intelligent with the idea. Bat goes to the jungle, and Tusk can get some value in the off lane. But at the moment, Tusk is not actually getting that much value there. He's gotten, I think, total 1 level over the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's really unusual for Jerax. It does feel like he normally has a lot of game impact, and I was expecting him to be more aggressive on the Shadow Fiend in mid, because I feel like it's a relatively easy target from the standpoint of no escape, very squishy early on, but just not able to make it work. And as I say that, Leshrac helps taking out that top tower. I believe he had 1 point in the Edict, yeah, maxing out that stun. I like it.
Yeah, you can't really go max lightning on support Leshrac. I think that's especially greedy to do, so it's just between maxing out the stun or the Edict. And the stun, I think he'll be happy because he has a setup with the Bat, the Tusk, the Invoker. There's a lot of setup for him to hit stuns in this game.
Yeah. So we have a bit of a slow game on our hands. We only have 1 kill, 7 minutes in, you know. Just Dota things. Gyrocopter is positioning as if he wants to go for a wraparound on mid, not realizing that he's going to walk right into Afterlife, so that should shut down all thoughts of that. But they've got a lot of stacks coming out for Iceberg, and I feel like this is the change. Last game, the SF had no stacks. Nothing for him to catch up, nor did the Batrider. So I feel like this SF, Iceberg, he's going to be getting quite a bit ahead. While the gank is coming out on bottom, they drop the cooldown, and now mass TPs. It's going to be a 5v2. Ramses is trying to do what he can. There's going to be a nice little howl coming out, but I fear both of these heroes going down for the lineup, and yeah, Ven's inevitably going to fall. So I have to say, good rotation coming out of Liquid, and especially since it doesn't look like CIS Rejects was really getting any extra form or experience out of the map because of that.
Yeah, and for a change, Liquid actually start with the kill lead in this match, and... Yeah. I think this goes back to the dynamic I was discussing between Radiant and Dire. This is why a lot of the top teams are happy to play Dire at the moment, because you can shut down the Radiant advantage by rotating into the Radiant safe lane, pushing down the tower and then taking over their jungle. And actually before that happens, it looks like Kura and Jerax are just heading straight to the mid lane for a fight.
I mean, I think they're in a great position to, as you said, take another fight, maybe try to go for a tower push. They have a lot of damage output, and at the bottom lane we see the Huskar does manage to get a kill on the Gyrocopter. Pretty cutting it close there.
Yeah, Gyro left alone. I mean, Huskar has been picked historically actually to kill Gyrocopter.
Oh, there's going to be an EMP out on Iceberg and the stun coming out. He goes down. Tusk getting the kill with the ice shards. It is looking really rough for CIS Rejects in this early game. Definitely a lead for Liquid. Albeit one big team fight can turn that around, and we can see how much that Iceberg caught up using those stacks. So it's not unfathomable for them to come back, but it's looking rough. Although for Jerax, it's suddenly looking rough as well. There's the omelet toggle. He's in the snowball. Here comes Gyrocopter. There's going to be some Berserker's blood, but this is a lot of damage output on Ramses. He's not able to omelet toggle in the Rocket Barrage. Always want to fly now, put on the back foot, and here comes Leshrac. Gonna have that easy setup on the stun. Actually manages to miss. They're trying to turn around and do something to Jerax, but always want to fly. Blown up, and these rotations from Liquid, always making sure they're taking these engagements with a numbers advantage. I love that.
Dire's middle
And this
tower
is, I mean,
under
this is
attack.
how you shut down Radiant advantage, because the Radiant likes to play early on, right after lanes break, in their jungle a lot. They get a lot of good value there, and if you're constantly up in their face, in their jungle, and you take down the tier 1 soon, which I think will be a priority sometime soon now, then they're forced to somehow make adjustments and play outside of literally the Radiant's comfort zone.
Radiant's
Suddenly the
bottom
Dire looks a
tower
lot
is
stronger.
under attack.
Additionally, I wanted to point out this game, Mind Control, getting very close to his blink early on, and the supports on CIS rejects, I think they're really taking advantage of that on Liquid. AA, not a hero who really, I mean, he needs level 6, obviously, before he has a lot of game impact, and then even then, it's still
Radiant's
pretty
bottom
weak.
tower
That's
is under attack.
only 8 seconds, I believe, at level 1. Yeah, Frostbite duration. It doesn't do a whole heap of damage. You're not making people too scared in the team fights, although it can have a lot of impact. And then Venge as well, her early levels...
Oh, Mind Control's trying to sneak up on Afterlife.
Oh yeah, and it looks like the sneak is going to be successful. Afterlife, will he be hit by that split earth? Oh, he's moving very, very fast, and they aren't quite able to catch him. But I was going to say Venge as well, that level 1 swap. It's super underwhelming, and while the stun in lane is great against a single target, it's not the best for control or turning around initiation on one of your teammates until you do have that swap.
Yeah, definitely. You really want to get to level 11 on support Venge, which is a bit awkward, because support heroes don't usually get that fast level 11.
I think both AA and Venge have that issue. They need... Oh my goodness, what a nice raise. I didn't think Iceberg was going to get it, but Fodder, can he turn it around into a kill? There's going to be the dunk coming out. Iceberg, he needs to walk away. He's taking a lot of damage as well from the illusions. Can he bottle up through the urn? Okay, he's going to be fine. At the same time, Invoker falls. I mean, we knew Invoker was going to fall there. That's what Duncan does.
I think, I want to see, yeah, go back to this. I
Oh,
think
the
that AA
Dumper Man with the snipe. Sorry, you were saying. Let's talk about
I think
AA.
AA is level 6, depending on what it's combining with on its team, is actually fine. So I don't want to put in the same category as the Venge, where it really is a big deal not to have level 11. I mean, I sort of see what you're getting at. AA level 6 ulti on its own is not going to set up that many kills, but combining with heroes that are bursty, it's perfectly... I mean, the point in it is for that shattered percentage, so it ends up being pretty big nuke if you're able to make use of the shattered percentage.
And we are going to be seeing still Gyrocopter topping the net worth chart, doing
Radiant's bottom tower is under
pretty
attack.
dang well. And now we do have the blink coming out on Batrider, so suddenly this initiation gets terrifying and always want to fly. You think you're on your own side, you're going to go down. Actually being nice, giving the support some kills there for the Invoker. And again, 4 heroes for Liquid in this mid. This is, I mean, it's basic principles of Dota. Generally the team with more heroes in an area is going to win out. But they are playing it so well, and while they might get this D-Ward, they're going to get the grip onto Iceberg. He is lassoed up and disabled. Holy cow, he is going down. And AA Bloss, level 1, comes out. Jerax puts himself into the snowball. He doesn't have any more disables, though, for a little bit. A lot of things on cooldown. If they can get something done onto Fodder, they need a few more auto attacks, but the cooldown, it's doing too much damage, and now we see Slaughter going down, Go Black on the sidelines. 2 more auto attacks. Oh, the Flame Break probably got him. Ice Shards will certainly get the kill. And now Huskar is in the mix, but a Warrior's Punch up on him. He does have the armlet on, and oh goodness, Venge walks right into a rocket barrage. Ramses is taken out, and that's going to be all 5 on the deck.
Yeah, and after I said earlier that Kuro probably wouldn't max the lightning, he's been able to do it because he got such high, like he just got so many levels so quickly. The game's going so well for his team, and he's starting to look like, you know, slightly behind core Leshrac and not a support Leshrac, and Kuro knows exactly what to do when he's playing a support hero and gets into these positions. So I think that Liquid are going to very, very possibly start snowballing out of control with so much farm and so many heroes already this early in the game.
Yeah. Batrider also working towards that 4 stealth now, already has the blink. Tusk is about a little under halfway to that mech. Gyrocopter, huge as usual, probably be picking up that Sandra Nyasha soon, and now he's farming the Radiant stacks. I mean, it's rough, and Huskar's not a hero that can traditionally play super well from behind just because he does rely on killing heroes and not creeps.
But this is, yeah, this is that advantage that the Radiant usually gets. You farm your jungle, they farm their jungle, but when the Dire's in the Radiant jungle, the Radiant suddenly just, they're being economically deprived. They can't keep up.
Dire's middle tower
And
is
Slaughter
under
here, I have to say, he had a really rough lane top. We talked about it while it was going down. He still doesn't have Blink Dagger. We're 14 minutes in. It's going to... Oh, they do see Gyrocopter with the creep that could. You gotta use that purge. But they're gonna have a lasso again onto Iceberg, and he is having such a rough time. Iceberg... Oh, the Ice Blast, it's not gonna hit anyone. And Iceberg, he manages to get himself out of the cooldown. Matumba Man taking a lot of damage. He's going for the TP out. Will he burn in Fountain? I'm not quite sure, but we still have Gold Black being snowballed in on. He's gonna go down. A Tornado. It doesn't hit anyone, and the EMP is gonna whiff as well. This Huskar is still burning people around. He does end up killing Tusk. And now they should have Invoker here. One more auto attack. He manages to pop up some stick charges. Iceberg just has to get in range. Fodder moving very fast. Has a DD. Don't think that's going to save his life. Slithering Crush should be coming out soon. He's popping himself up. A lot of health. And we still have Batrider on the sidelines trying to help him out. But there we go. Oh, he manages to get off the cold snap. And now the damage he's taking. He may just turn around and kill the Slaughter. Oh, they go for the razors since Iceberg with that deafening blast. But they get the Slaughter. This is ridiculous. Mind Control looking for more. They've chased too far on the lineup of CIS rejects, and he just goes for the Requiem of Souls. Can they tone it onto Mind Control? A Blast gonna whiff. Oh, but they swap him back into it! Well played. Although Iceberg may pay with his life for this, so not so well played, as I call
Ramses
it.
wants to go in.
Yeah, this team fight is still going on. It's been, you know, just a casual, like, 3-minute team fight. Who needs to take a breath? We're gonna have a stun out onto Matumba Man. This should give them enough time to put out enough damage, but a Walrus Punch, I have to expect it's coming out now. Huskar, he goes in for the dunk. There is the snowball. He has to bring him back, and another stun coming out of Kuro. The lightning, it does nothing right now. Jerax is dead. Let's see if they can get more. Huskar is actually gonna calm down for a second here. So, I know this fight recap doesn't have everything. A couple of lost kills definitely in favor of CIS rejects, but we could see this net worth chart, I think, telling the story of what just happened.
Yeah, Liquid started the fight pretty badly at that mid lane. The Batrider caught the Shadow Fiend, but only Leshrac was helping him. The rest of the team was trying to fight the Huskar. And
There's gonna be a Tornado EMP. Ramsey's thinking about going in. He's just gonna dunk. Who cares about it having mana, he says, as a Huskar. There's also gonna be an Ice Blast coming out of Fodder. They do get the kill onto Ramses, but they also get the tower.
yeah, Liquid, I think, at the mid lane started the fight poorly. CS rejects go ahead. CS rejects chase too far. Liquid gets some kills. And then Liquid stay too long. And CS rejects get some kills. And it's a kind of back and forth. But I think it overall probably favors the CS rejects. And the net worth graph certainly shows that. And so does the XP graph.
And
they were looking to be choked out of the game. And now they look quite alive again.
Yeah. Huskar, pretty much off the back of that team fight, I think he got 4 or 5 kills in a row. He was sitting previously, I want to say at 3 and 4, not having an easy time. This is just hero. I mean, he's top of the net worth chart suddenly from killing heroes. Also, Afterlife has been given enough space to get up his Blink Dagger. It's late, but better late than never, as they say. So suddenly, they're in a good spot for CIS rejects, I think, to have some sort of initiation. A is still poor as... poor as anything, but Always Wanna Fly does have a medallion up, so this is going to help the Huskar a little bit more.
I think Liquid, if they were like paying attention to what actually happened in the last fight, they would have learned a valuable lesson from it. That it's pretty greedy to try and deal with the SF and the Huskar at the same time at the start of a fight. They should probably try and choose one first and then deal with the other. That's what I think.
We have a swap on Kuro on the top lane. They're going to get the Slithering crushed up, but Always Wanna Fly may have given up his life. They do get the first kill, so it's support for a support. And I guess Venge gets the experience, but a pretty even trade overall.
Yeah, although in the meantime, Huskar is actually farming his jungle, not been pushed out of it, and in fact he could go for a solo kill on Gyro now at the bot lane.
So I also...
Oh, he's got Slaughter as well, it's an easy kill.
Yeah, there's gonna be Gyrocopter. He doesn't... Oh, he can't go for the TP because the Slaughter was there. He almost kills off Slaughter. Instead, he's gonna fall. Ramsey's actually attacking a little bit wrong there for a second. The AA has been picked off, but of course, you're not gonna take an AA at the same time. Here comes the lasso. Do they have the damage output? Fodder has a full toolkit in about 4 seconds, but there are a lot of heroes coming in for this support, and suddenly Fodder wanting to get on out of there. There's gonna be the dunk, and even if he has Ghost Walk, he is right... Oh no, that's an enemy sentry, so doesn't matter.
Yep.
Couldn't invoke it in time, and yeah, really good trade.
Huskar jumped through the tornado, do you see that?
I didn't quite notice. There's been some funky tornado interactions here. I feel like there was a tornado that I think earlier should have hit Iceberg, but he was lassoed and didn't seem to go up, but maybe it was just short.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess it's not meant to be disjointable, the life break, and I guess that's... I'm pretty sure
you also spell immune while you're leaping.
Yeah.
Easy, Roshan. I mean, Huskar's life break has some very funky interactions. You're spell immune while you're leaping. You dispel debuffs, I believe.
But it also says on the skill, if you hold alt, that if Huskar is disabled during the charge, then it will stop. So there must be some way to disable him, but clearly Tornado is not one of them, because he literally like jumped into the face of the Tornado and went straight onto the Invoker.
Yeah, it might just be that it has to be one of those spell piercing, sorry, magic immunity piercing stops.
Yeah, that sounds, yeah, maybe it's...
We'll go with that. I'm sure chat will flame us in 2 minutes. They're just like, what are these noobs doing? Oh, Dota interactions, complex things, my people. So,
Whatever,
either way,
I just think it'll make for a cool GIF if someone wants to make like a Huskar.
wait, that's what you bring it up because you're just like, yeah, guys, I want those GIFs. If you could get on that, that would be great. I know Dota 2 loves those. Either way, Huskar, he has gotten up the Heaven's Halberd. I feel like our last game didn't even go long enough that we got to really see Huskar's item build beyond the lifesteal. This is pretty standard. Evasion always great on him, and if you can force somebody else into going a MKB, maybe before they wanted to, that's fantastic as well.
Yeah, last game he picked up the Halberd right as they were finishing. Like I think it got to him when they were killing their axes. So we didn't see anything beyond this point. So where he goes from here will be completely new territory.
Slaughter just solo smoke. I'm not sure if he's thinking about picking off mid. Fodder is alone though. And of course Slaughter does have the blink. He probably wants one other to rotate as well, so he may be waiting for when the TP he goes. Yeah, and there's going to be the TP coming out. It's going to be a Venge. Not sure if they have enough damage between them, but oh goodness, Fodder, you cannot ghost walk when you're seen. And Venge didn't even need spells there. I mean, obviously it's really nice to have the magic missile up and so on, but yeah. That'll be that.
Liquid's not looking too healthy in this game. I mean, yeah, sure, they just got a trade there, but this is a game that they actually took control of early on, which is a bit surprising for Liquid recently. And after taking control, they got a messy fight in the mid lane, let's fight in the bot lane, and all of a sudden, I think CIS Rejects actually in the driving seats in the commanding position.
At the same time, Gyrocopter is just chilling, poking away at the bottom tower. Sometimes words are hard. Slaughter's gonna go for the initiation there. There's an A blast coming as well, and suddenly Matumba Man, he needs to get out. Whoa, you get the bash, Slaughter! Unable to, and I think that Matumba Man will be fine, healing up in the fountain in about 5 seconds. At the same time, there's the initiation. The lasso comes out to swap out, though, Venge, that hard counter to the Bat Rider. But now they're snowballing in, and oh, okay, they snowballed in onto a creep just a little bit away. But a Requiem of Souls gonna kill off one. Can they kill off two? Icepoke is silenced up. Matumba Man, he is ready to fight, but he's not doing any damage output. He needs a bit of help. Icepoke, he's gonna go down, but Death Requiem, it's gonna kill off the Gyrocopter, and now they might be free to do more damage. They're working on the melee racks, though. If they don't get this, it's just gonna regen back up. We have a buyback coming out of the Bat Rider. He, of course, doesn't have that ult for quite a while, but Ramses, he's being locked down. He does have that that Aegis, and it's not gonna be enough. Fodder goes down. They still haven't killed off the Huskar once, so looking like CIS Rejects have enough time to work on this Rax leisurely. Bat Rider coming in, being a real pain in the bum, but if the rest of them can just work on this Rax, I think they'll get it. And Ramses, oh, he toggles, still isn't going to go down. Doing a lot of damage to that Rax when he decides to actually hit it. And Slaughter with the crush, gonna take out the Bat Rider. That's a dieback.
Yeah, Hellscore's doing work here, just like in the previous game. Shadow Fiend, Iceberg's doing work as well, just like in the previous game, and Liquid, I don't know, they were in a position at some point where it felt like they had contained CIS Rejects, and with that fight, that led into like 2 or 3 fights in a row, all combined, CIS Rejects like retook the control of the game, and they haven't dropped the momentum ever since. Like, sure, early on Gyrocopter was split pushing, he dealt some damage to the tier 3 bot, but Gyrocopter is not a hero designed for that purpose, for quickly split pushing the enemy team's buildings, and yeah, his team gets the worst of the trade, because that's, I mean, it's not really a viable strategy for winning a game for Gyrocopter to avoid the fights and split push. He needs to be in that fight, but when he came to the fights, he just blew up.
I also feel like part of this is Leshrac went for an Atos, which I think another control item, either a Force Staff to get people away from the Huskar, maybe a Yules, because of course the Huskar doesn't have a BKB yet, although he's about to get one, so that point would be moot. Also, Shadow Fiend has a Silver's Edge. I mean, this is actually a really weird item build coming out. When I saw the Sand, I assumed it would be Yasha. But it does feel like the lack of control coming out from Liquid doing them real harm. And they actually have a lot of stuns and so on. It's just not enough right now.
Yeah, they've got the tools to control, but they kind of got out-farmed in a big way. And that's, I mean, again, I mean, I've said it too many times now, people are already tired of me saying, Liquid were getting the better of the early game, and they kind of gifted CIS Rejects this position where they now out-farmed them. It's not so long ago I was talking about how, wow, look at Kura's levels, look at his gold, there's so much farm on Liquid. But it's the opposite now. Look at the net worth graph. The gold lead is significant for Huskar and Shadow Fiend, and they're the two heroes that are extremely difficult to deal with, never mind if Venge is using Solar Crest to protect them or swap them out.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Venge getting very rich off the back of that last team fight, has the Solar Crest, working on that mech. I mean, not where I was expecting her to be, given her early game start. She is shot all the way up. Afterlife casually going for a plate mail. I'm going to assume this is the AC, although it could be Lotus Orb, has a couple fun things here, so it could be a Lotus Orb. But
yeah, it's definitely a possibility both directions. I mean, I think the short term is a bigger concern for Liquid though. I feel like if anything, CIS Rejects might wait for another rush and then just go, but they possibly don't even have to wait because they have a full BKB on its way to Haskell now. Hopefully the courier doesn't get sniped. It's actually running very close to enemies. If it gets sniped, that's really big. It's got a BKB on it.
It's gonna be close. Oh, Gyrocopter's following it. He can get the kill. And as you said, that was a full BKB down the drain. We'll just double check on that. Yeah, sad, sad days. Courier dead. I'm not sure if CIS Rejects want to go into this now. I mean, I certainly think they could take a fight, but it's definitely bad on your morale, and knowing that your opponents know you don't have a BKB, because you have to assume at this level they checked it.
Yeah, that's... they almost certainly know. I mean, look, Liquid are still probably at a disadvantage if they fight, but if the BKB was up, then I think CS Rejects just YOLO in and expect to easy win. Now
they go for a smoke, but the BKB coming out of Matomba Man. They have Huskar up in the air, and EMP, it looks like everybody's going to be able to get out of it. Double sentries drop, but it doesn't matter. They didn't put it too far, and now Icepoke, he's going to get off that Requiem of Souls. He's working in on Jerax. Jerax is going to go down on the other side of the fight. They have gripped up Huskar. He needs a bit of help, but immediately the Venge swap comes out. Again, that hard counter to the Batrider. And with just Tusk going down, looks like that'll be that.
Yeah, and that's without the BKB, right? If the BKB is there, then Ramsey's just going ham from the start of the fight. It's probably a lot more kills than just one. So it's troublesome for Liquid. I almost feel like happening to get lucky and get that courier snipe bought them a little bit of time, but that's all really.
Yeah, it's also really scary here because they're at a really big, I mean, we've already mentioned they're at a huge gold disadvantage, but also just not having the levels. Invoker's a very level dependent hero, and the fact that he didn't get ahead here, I almost feel like fodder. Oh, Ramses, he doesn't have Aegis this time, and he's in a really bad spot, but of course they used the lasso last fight, so they don't have it, and they're not able to take advantage of that momentarily lapse in positioning. I was going to say, I feel like Fodder just hasn't maybe scaled the way he wanted to. A lot of this on the fact that their engagements haven't been working out in their favor, but maybe it was a Midas game. Just to get those levels.
Yeah, well, it's also to get the value out of the Orchid. Usually you run around the map and pick people off. And since he's had Orchid, there's hardly been a moment that CIS Rejects weren't just grouped up as 5. So we really do see less value out of a Invoker Rash Orchid if that's the game that you're facing. And it's the game they're facing because CS Rejects know that if they are grouped up as 5, they're simply the stronger team right now, like significantly so. It's I feel like it's a lot like the previous game now, where CS Rejects are in a position to throw the game or win the game.
I think it's also incredibly rough. I can't understate this. It's an incredibly rough game for the Invoker from the standpoint of CIS Rejects, they clearly just ran this. They understand how powerful the Orchid Invoker can be, so they know that they can just make sure that they group up and maybe get a bit out of that, or at least, you know, use the buddy system where the Invoker's not getting pickoffs on you alone. So, really a bit easier.
Courier's coming up soon. It's going to be Huskar's BKB, and actually Shadow Fiend is about 200 gold away from his own BKB too.
Also, it was a relatively short Roshan time. Spawn.
Yeah. They're going to get both their BKBs, they're going to force the rush down, then they're going to go push, and actually Slaughter's pretty close to that Lotus Orb you said he might go for. He's going to have that as well after rush, so I almost feel like Liquid are stuck in this tough position where they can't give away the rush. They're going to lose Raxes if they do, but if they take the fight at rush, they probably lose it.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure like which approach they're gonna take.
I think they have to get really lucky. I'm pretty sure that their smokes are on cooldown because we saw them using a lot. And yes, in fact, there is no smokes for Liquid, 1 smoke up for CIS Rejects. They have to get really lucky. Either, I think, take a pick off somewhere, which is near impossible because CIS Rejects are grouping up, or Liquid has to somehow win this team fight in the Roshan pit, and I don't know that they can.
Maybe Batrider can like pull someone up and use his Flame Break to push the others up, high ground all of them. I don't know.
Oh, he tried that, man. Tried to get Iceberg up there. There's going to be a nice tornado coming from behind. There'll be no AA blast for this team fight. Afterlife does manage to get off the Slithering Crush, and they have left the Roshan up to the Huskar. Iceberg actually getting really low. He does end up popping that BKB, and now Huskar, he's got the Aegis. There's going to be... No, he actually cancels the Requiem of Souls. He's stuck here. He pops that Silver's Edge, but oh, there's no stopping the slaughter. He goes in. Always want to fly, getting really... ballsy up there, but I think he feels very safe. Doesn't have a stun right now. They're going on Kuro, though. He's immediately dismantled. AA has bought back, so there might be one of those flying about. Always Want to Fly is chasing after Invoker, who ghost walks before they can say anything, and a big AA blast. It's going to hit on one, but it doesn't look like CIS rejects even feel like following up, but I think this AA buyback's still worth it, because he's going to have another blast in 23 seconds. It just means that they can siege high ground.
It's impressive composure from your Huskar there. He just continued to rush. AA is dying, his teammates look like they might be in trouble, and he's just like, I know what's important here. I finished the rush, I get the Aegis, we're gonna win the game. And not really that significant that AA went down at all.
Yeah. And I have to say, it's also props to his teammates. They made a lot of space for him, and it ended up working out. And now Ramses, he can be pretty far up here. They also do know that Lasso is up, but again, oh, they actually go for the pull, and now he's BKB'd. He's walking in on Fodder. Fodder doesn't have anything to stop that. He's going to go down. He does have buyback, though. Maybe he can make something happen here. The BKB is still up on Ramses. He's really in deep, though, so if Batrider does get a pull off, they could pull him, you know, behind those tier 4s and maybe do something, but instead, he's just standing there zoning them. And Jerax, I know he wants to get in a Morris Punch, but he just can't do anything. Lotus Orb now thrown up on Ramses as well. There's going to be a call down from Matumba Man. He's trying to go in from the sidelines. He does have those flat cannon shots, but Afterlife going to get Glimmer caped up. And the immediate death. Oh goodness, Kuro, he is going down. Matumba Man's on the deck. I think this is GG. We're going to have a Requiem of Souls on Iceberg and Fodder. He's expended that buyback to a dieback. I think it's just GG, unfortunately.
Yeah, so if the last game was like, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70% Invoker and the rest of the Huskar, this game is probably the opposite. Ramsey's got to be the true carry, mech space, zone control.
Yeah, he's 17 and 4. Just Huskar things. There's OG.
This was that Huskar game. This was, I mean, after the first game you could see why Liquid are like, fine, we can give them Huskar again, it's Invoker that did a lot of work, but this game, I feel like if there was another game, maybe the following game would be ban Huskar, we don't want to deal with that again.
So, either way, folks, thank you all so much for watching. I'm really impressed because I do feel like Liquid was kind of the favored team here, and CIS rejects have been having, as you mentioned, they've been taking one game off of teams but not quite able to seal the deal. So, good job from them. Once again, I've been joined by Scant. Do you want to tell people where they can find you and so on?
They can come find me in Cape Town if they're South Africans.
I'm on Twitter.
On Twitter, it's at Scansaw. Yeah, and please feel free to tweet at me and like ask me things or criticize me or something. That would be cool. As Llama always says, I'm just as eager to get feedback on how to improve. I know that I need to get a better mic, so don't bother with that one, but anything else I'd love to hear.
Yeah, and also, once again, I'm Llama Down Under. I also want to improve. You can hit me up on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook as Llama Down Under. Looking forward to hearing any feedback or strange comments. I think I said blunk less this game, understanding that blinked is in fact the past tense. Oh goodness, my life is a lie. Either way, thank you all so much for watching Starladder. I believe Navi versus Alliance is hosted. I think OD Pixel's casting that, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know if you're joining him or what's going on with the rest of your day, Scant. I don't know if you're on Starladder later.
I'm probably not. So I'm
Okay.
going to spend the day writing an article about Dota. I'll probably, if people follow me on Twitter, they can read the things I write, though.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
So we'll be passing the torch on, folks. I'll leave the score up for a little bit, but then we'll be going over to the next series. Once again, thank you all for watching, and please enjoy the words from the Starladder sponsors coming up right now.